Okay, it's March 20th, and Ramadan ended yesterday. And just as Ramadan was ending, the Spanish Espanol uh, and Mexico Cerebus Kickstarter is up and running. I am assured that it's up and running uh, as of yesterday. So, as promised, um, we're now in a situation where the number one in the on deck circle is Punisher, Cerebus in jail, um, Can 13? Yes, yes, Can 13. Can 13 Kickstarter is first in line, which means Cerebus 1982 tour book has moved up from number 3 to number 2. And again, as promised, as soon as that happens, the Kickstarter is up. Everybody's moved up one space. Uh, Last night, I took my first look at the Cerebus 1982 tour book. I was going to ask Dagan, do you want me to? I've got like 3 email faxes from you sitting on the steps. Do you want me to answer those and then go to the 1982 tour book, or do you want me to just start at the 1982 tour book? And then I thought, well, that's just going to take extra time to get an answer on that. So I decided to just go ahead and basically uh, read the book, just as if I was a Cerebus fan, um, sort of curious enough to buy one. Let's put it that way. And was it had gone to the mailbox. Here it is. Oh, hey, let's check this out and start right from the beginning. So I actually, it was kind of a plus that it was right at the end of Ramadan, because my policy with Ramadan is that I still have my standard Ramadan meal that I've had for 25 years now, more 26, 26 years, I think, which is I have a salad and I have a can of pineapple, and that's what I have every night for 30 days. Ordinarily, from what I understand, real Muslims, when it comes to the end of Ramadan, which is, the last prayer on the 30th day, then it's, happy days are here again. Let's, let's feast and enjoy ourselves. And my attitude was always, well, no, you're not. Uh, a big part for me is, identifying with the world's hungry, which is, I think, always the idea behind a fast or a substantial part of the fast. And if you don't do that on the 30th day, if you just go, well, okay, the sun's been down for about an hour and a half, the night prayer is over with, Ramadan is now done. It's like, well, you're missing as far as I'm concerned, you're missing the last 2 hours, the last 3 hours. So I was in that situation and going, well, I'm definitely eager for midnight to get here, because when midnight gets here, then I can at least eat something that isn't salad and pineapple for the first time in 30 days. So consequently, it was, well, as long as I'm doing that, just waiting for the clock to turn over to midnight, let's see how far I can get in the 1982 tour book. And I actually got as far as page 50 something. Yes, 50 something. Just flipping backward. Yeah, page 52. And I do have like foundational problems with it. One of the situations is uh, I'm definitely in the category of micro publishing. Aardvark Vanheim is a micro publisher, and the rule of thumb that I have for micro publishing is $1 a page. Um, there's some flexibility on that, but particularly when I started setting up Ninja High School Service uh, two, 1, 2, and 3, it was okay. Well, they're going to be 16 pages long, and they're going to cost $15. So, 15 US. So that's $1 a page, and I'm pretty sure there's a profit at that rate. Not a huge profit. That's the problem, is I don't know how much of a profit there is, and one of the problems is that you drag in the fourth dimension of okay, how long did it take to go from the Kickstarter launch point to the fulfillment point? Everybody has gotten everything that they ordered, and okay, here's how much money is left over. The longer that time period is, the more money you need in order to keep the doors open and the lights on. So that's why I'm trying on our Kickstarters to shorten the fulfillment time as much as possible, so that from the time that the Kickstarter starts to the time that everybody's getting their books in the mail, should be about 2 months. If it's 2 months, like I say, nobody's getting rich, but it's at least being in revenues, and presumably between me and Birdsong and other people who are working on books that are sounding really interesting. Lee Thacker working on Panther X, et cetera, et cetera. It should be no problem to stay ahead of the canned portfolios and the comic books. The canned portfolios are $10 a page because they're 11 by 17, and it's the copies of the original artwork. So that's the two rule of thumbs that I've got: $1 a page for comic books, $10 a page for portfolios. I'm not revisiting the question mentally. So consequently, when I'm looking at the Cerebus 1982 tour book, the first thing I do is flip to the back and go, okay, how many pages is this? And ballpark, it looks like 220. So right away you're talking about a $220 book. Like I say, there is flexibility, but particularly in a case where Aardvark Vanheim and Waverly Press would be splitting whatever profits there are, however much it costs to print each individual book. It's okay. That's a situation where you're giving not all of your money to the printer, but the printer is getting the lion's share of the money, and then whatever's left over is whatever's left over, and it's okay. How long is it going to take for the Kickstarter to get up and running? This is the first time that I've looked at the book, and there's a lot of changes that I have to see, particularly, like I say, getting the page count down, which is anybody who's wanting to help Aardvark Vanheim in terms of decision making, and in terms of, hey, what about this? What have you tried this? Okay, what's the page count? If the page count is 75 pages, let's say, then it's like, okay, already we have a problem. You're talking about a $75 book, and that's really cutting out a good part of the micro publishing market, which I'm already doing, but I don't want to really lean into that and go, okay, not only are you having to pay more per page for an Aardvark Vanaheim comic book than you are for any other comic books, but you're getting sticker shock every time you look at a Kickstarter. I can talk about the different things where I'm going, well, okay, this is a place where I might rethink that. But looking at the book, like just flipping through it, which last night was the first time that I didn't just flip through it. It's like, no, that was before. Now we're actually reading the thing to go, okay, how does it read as a book? It's fine. It's like, for the 50 pages that I read, it's nothing was really jumping out at me as this is completely untenable. But I did, even getting to page 52, I'm going, I think this is multiple books in the first place, and in the second place, I think it's in the wrong order. The order that it actually has is okay. Why are you starting there? Because flipping ahead to the interviews, Acme Comics interview, Maggie Thompson, Comic Fandom's Forum interview, the Comics Journal interview, Comics Scene interview, Lone Star Express interview, Comics Buyer's Guide interview. It's that's that's a lot of interviews where chronologically, it's the Maggie Thompson interview didn't take place on the tour. It was before the tour. It was in 1982, but she didn't interview me at any place on the tour. So consequently, it seems to me that, well, okay, that needs to go first, and it has to be specified. This is leading into the tour. The tour was at the end of 1982, pretty much all of October and a week or so in November. So consequently, it's like I'll be reading something and going, no, this is in the wrong order. Like the Comics Journal interview makes sense in one sense because it's that was conducted by Kim Thompson when we were in New York City, which was the second stop on the tour. But it's also a very, very long interview. It's the two-part issue 82, issue 83, and I haven't read that, but I am going to read that, and I am going to read all of the interviews, and go, okay, where is this redundant, and where can it be sharpened up by just contextualizing it differently? And when I was flipping through the Maggie Thompson part has been added on. There's a photo of Maggie Thompson that's just been tucked into the book, and her comment about interviewing me and about Denny, and looking at it, I'm going, okay. I think particularly when I get to the the Comics Journal interview, my perspective on it is going to be what to you is the most interesting part of the Comics Journal interview? Because a lot of it is, dated, and a lot between the interviews, a lot of the stuff is kind of redundant. But that's my opinion. So when I get to that part, it's going to be, well, okay, out of the however many, like 30 pages, 40 pages of the two-part Comics Journal interview, what part of this interview did I go, well, that's interesting. That's something that I didn't remember, but it's definitely interesting. And if I was going to highlight anything, this would be the thing that I would be highlighting. And then do the same thing with Denny, where Denny, you reread the Comics Journal interview, and reread Maggie Thompson's interview and the Lone Star interview, and do the same thing. Say, well, okay, this is the stuff that was the most interesting in there to me. If I had to pick a page or 2 pages worth of this interview, it could overlap. It could be, yeah, I found that interesting, and yeah, Denny found that interesting too. In which case, okay, that's a win-win kind of thing, because it keeps the page count down, but it's still, okay, this is interesting. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, we can't do that with Kim Thompson. He passed away years ago, unfortunately. But we could do it with Maggie Thompson, no relation, where, okay, Maggie, here's your interview from way back when. What do you think is the most interesting part in this that if you wanted to say, well, I think this definitely cuts to the heart of what I was trying to communicate, what I was driving at in interviewing Dave and Denny. And the same thing with Diana Schutz of, okay, here's Matt Denn's interview, but what do you find particularly interesting about whatever parts of this you were semi-responsible for as the Comics and Comics rep that you were at the time, that I think probably in each case we're talking about, this wasn't something that I remembered, that as I was reading the interview I was going, oh, that's interesting. I'd completely forgotten that part, but that's interesting. And then, like I say, there are other things where you would go, well, it's interesting, but once we get it down to what everybody who conducted the interview thinks is interesting, what I think is interesting, and what Denny thinks is interesting, then you assemble that, and that might be a separate book. I mean, it's you can do the completest approach and say, no, it's got to be all of the interviews, and it's got to be every word in the interviews exactly as it was conducted. And in the case of most of the stuff, it was scanned right out of the fanzine page, and this is exactly how it appeared in the fanzine at the time. That runs afoul of what I was picturing from the outset, which was a classy book that wasn't kitschy, wasn't comic book kitsch in any sense. It was everything treated with a great deal of dignity, whether it deserves to be dignified or not. one time we're going to try and indulge Dave Sim on that side of it. So consequently, it would be. I'm pretty sure I'll be redesigning the book in such a way that it looks more like the book that I pictured in my head when when I pitched Dagan on it. It's not bad. The typeface is good. He said that he used it for another project, and I quite like the typeface. I would definitely err on more original artwork and fewer sketches, unless it's a really really good sketch. Like I'm just looking at the Bill Sienkiewicz SY apostrophe M or S apostrophe YM Sim character from the X-Men with Cerebus, the jam piece that we did, which I had completely forgotten. It looks really good, but it's it could be considerably bigger on the page than it is, and I think it's worthy of that because it's Bill Sienkiewicz. The more detail that you get, I would be almost tempted to go, yeah, let's just enlarge this so that it's not quite bleeding off the page, but filling up the page because it's got the detail on it, and let's do a close-up of the most detailed part of it, which is the face and the shoulders that Bill did. And it's like, if anything merits that treatment, that sketch does. But it's not going to be an across the board thing. Let's do all of the sketches like that. Some of the sketches, I would definitely prefer that they be reduced to about the size of a postage stamp because they're really really bad sketches. Same thing with I would always err on the side of original artwork. If you're doing, as an example, there's the cover of number 42. That this was the one that was in the shops at the time of the tour, and it's like it was eventually, but that was a definite experience on the tour. Was going, okay, 42 shipped. How long does it take for 42 to get to the stores? And it's like, in my mind, it was instantaneous, but it did take a number of stops before we finally got to a store where, 42 came out. Great. I was hoping that 43 would be out because that's the election night, which I considered a real showstopper. But that wasn't going to happen. I'm pretty sure that 43 wasn't out by the time we were done in Colorado. But it's I'm pretty sure that the original art for the cover of number 42 does exist, and if that was remastered by Sean and took up the space that it does in the book, instead of a reproduction of the color cover, which is just, well, everybody that's got a copy of number 42 knows what it looks like. This is what the original artwork looks like. And, as the artist, I prefer to see that. I'm pretty sure the cover of 43 and 44 are both in the Cerebus archive. So I would be inclined to include those on the same basis. Sean, do your best remastering on this so that you can see that it's a page of original artwork, and let's give it the full page full bleed treatment. So where are we here? 24 minutes and 50 seconds. So I did spend probably an hour and a half to 2 hours last night and early this morning. I finally got to bed about 1 a.m. and having gotten to page 42. So with the 25 minutes that I've done explaining this basic stuff, what I consider basic stuff, that's 2 hours. I was committing to 1 hour a month, 1 hour a week. I don't know what it's going to be. It's if I end up having space for it, and the priority is getting Ninja High School 2 and 3, Punisher, and Cerebus in Jail, and Can 13, getting those done. Those are all off my desk and onto Birdsong's desk. So that's the priority. And then immediately getting on those. Anything I get from Studio Comics Press, from Birdsong, in Relay, it's like, okay, the priority is getting a Strange Death of Alex Raymond page done and a Ninja High School page done every week. And as soon as that's done, which is usually late Wednesday night, Thursday is everything else. Everything else that I have to do, weekly updates, please hold for Dave Sim, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I will wedge an hour or an hour and a half or whatever into, okay, here we are. But this is my first response to the first 52 pages. And like I say, I'm going to keep going, and I'm definitely going to read all of the interviews all the way through, and with the focus on, okay, this Comics Journal interview is whatever it is, 30, 40 pages. Pick 5. If you had to pick 5 pages out of these 30 or 40 pages, what would they be? And mark them as I go along, and then see where there's any kind of overlap possible with that, and start ballparking what's a reasonable length for this book. Like I say, we might. I think it's more likely that we find out, no, you can't print all of these interviews, and even if you print only 5 pages out of each of the interviews, that's still adding too many pages. So we can just make them, okay, these are teasers for the interview book, which is not the 1982 tour book, it's the interview book. Here's all of the interviews that Dave and Denny did, and that Dave solo did. And then go, all right, is that 1 book, or is that 3 books? Because, at $1 a page, that's always got to be front of mind, is how much money am I asking the Cerebus completists to come up with on whatever this thing is that I'm selling them. And if I can't keep the page count down, then it's too big an ask. It's no, we're going to have to rethink this along the lines of these 220 pages. Let's assume that I get to the end of all of this, and I read every square inch of it. And how many books is that? What are the books made up of? And how many pages are they going to be? I don't want to come up with a priori. This is how long these books are going to be. That works with Ninja High School. I don't think it's going to work with this material, but I have to read all of the material and go, well, okay, I think this is the strongest thing. One of the other elements is I think it makes more sense to divide up people talking about Denny and people talking about Dave, um, because the emphases are different. It's like that was one of the things I thought right from the outset is the John Clayton photos, who was the comic scene photographer, and they're very good photos. Um, Definitely worth a full page in both cases. Picture of me, picture of Denny. It would make more sense for people to get to the Denny Lubert picture, and I'm a ladies first kind of guy, so that should probably be the first thing in the book is the Denny Lubert picture, and then people talking about Denny Lubert. Looking at Bill Sienkiewicz's comments, it's like most of them are about Denny. So let's see if we can do a Dave ectomy on Bill Sienkiewicz's comments and go, okay, if we just have the comments on Denny, do they make sense on their own? And it's like, Bill supplied it, so I think there'd be no problem going back through channels and saying, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going to have you talking about Denny. We're going to have you talking about me. And this is what it looks like, just divided. Do you want to add anything in here to bridge this thing and that thing? Or go, well, okay, since I wrote that, I thought of 3 more things that I wanted to say about Denny. Well, that's great. It's like, it's the first section in the book, and it'll be Diana Schutz talking about Denny, Bill Sienkiewicz talking about Denny, Maggie Thompson talking about Denny, and contextualizing. That's what I would picture that segueing into. Here's what Denny found the most interesting in this interview, and this interview. So it's, okay, this might be about me. This might be about Denny. This might be about Denny and me. This might be about Cerebus. This might be about whatever it's about. But it's the reason that it's here, and the reason it's at the start of the book is because the start of the book is Denny Lubert, and here's the stuff that Denny thought was the most pertinent. And then, in the case of Maggie Thompson's interview, what did she pick that Denny said, or her memories of Denny, and how many pages does that work out to? I think that covers, to me, that covers a lot of bases, but that's one of those. It's later in the process, but it's also early in the process in terms of, particularly if this is going to have any kind of sales to civilians, people who aren't comic book fans, that you could just hand this to them and say, here, this is the first national comic store tour from back in 1982. This is 40 years ago. You don't know either of these people. You don't know anything about Cerebus, but if you just start at the beginning and read sequentially, here's Maggie Thompson's interview pre-tour. This is pre-tour, followed by the Denny section, followed by the Dave section, followed by Dave's tour diary. Then you've got a structure there where, okay, you have to tell me who these people are if you want me to care about them. And it's like, right, exactly. which is why I think we have to set it up that way. Okay, we're now up to 35 minutes. I'm gonna cap it there, and we will hopefully be able to pick up from there up ahead. Again, depending on how the next Kickstarter in line is coming along. The most time that I'll be spending on the 1982 tour book is after our Kickstarter, David Birdsong's and my Kickstarter goes up probably sometime during the Spanish Kickstarter, because that just bumped everything all over the place. I mean, the slot was for the third week in January. It's the third week in March, and it's just going up now, and it's running for 60 days. So it's like, from my perspective, all bets are off at that point. It's we don't do that. We don't schedule a Kickstarter until the previous Kickstarter is done, and if it's just logistically not working like that, then I'm probably not going to work with you again. Or if I do work with you again, it's going to have to be on the basis of no, you have to get everything done. You have to get the whole Kickstarter set up. You have to get approval for it, and then you have to sit on it until I say, okay, now you can post that Kickstarter. And it's not going to be 60 days. If you want to do that, do something else. Don't use my material. Use somebody else's material, and who's just fine with that. It's doesn't matter to me. 60 days, 120 days. I've got a full-time job, or my wife's got a full-time job, so I really don't need the money. I'm not in that situation. Aardvark Vanaheim isn't in that situation. Okay, that's the best I can do for installment number 1. I think I'm living up to my side of it. I said as soon as the Spanish Kickstarter was up, and it's up as of yesterday, and this is in the number 2 spot, I will start taking a look at it. So I know that's not going to satisfy everybody, but I hope it satisfies a few people.